Hi, welcome to Petty Talks TV. This is your family's talk show about pets, where nothing is too petty for us to talk about when it comes to your pets. So come join our community of pet lovers. Allow us to entertain you. Subscribe to our channel, and hopefully we'll be inspiring you. Today is a very big day because we have as our guest Dr. Joran Whitley, all the way from Oklahoma. Dr. Joran Whitley will share with us his stories about his work as an animal and a human chiropractor. We're live on Facebook and YouTube on the first and third Saturday of the month, 5 o'clock Philippine time. If you're watching this on a replay, go ahead and move the video forward. My name is Tita Mi, shortcut for Tita Meow, because I love cats. But we don't only talk about cats, we also talk about other animals and issues as well. And if you just missed that, today we have a special guest, none other than Dr. Joran Whitley, all the way from Oklahoma. Dr. Whitley is a chiropractor at the Oklahoma Chiropractic. He's also a doctor of chiropractic at the Trinity Animal Chiropractic. He was a former anatomy tutor at the Parker College of Chiropractic in Dallas, Texas. He was also a former laboratory technician at the United States Department of Agriculture in Stillwater, Oklahoma. He studied chiropractic at the Parker University from 2013 to 2016. He earned his bachelor's degree in biochemistry and molecular biology. He lives in Edmond, Oklahoma, with his very beautiful wife, Laurel Victoria Whitley, whom he got married to in December 2021. Friends, let's all welcome no one else but Dr. Joran Whitley. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, Doc. I'm sorry for the energy. I know it's
Hey, no, it's
nighttime
awesome.
there. You must have had a very long day.
Very long. We've taken care of humans and animals all day, and we've tried to do a little bit of filming in the meantime, and just
Wow.
filling the day with adventure.
Wow. You know, when I learned about you, of course, from your social media pages, and I'll put the description later as well. I was just very impressed, and I was really praying that what a really big privilege to be able to talk to somebody like you who does something very unusual. You know, I come from the Philippines, you're from the US, and to be honest with you, I'm not really in the medical field. So when you were telling me all about the degrees that you were taking, I said that all sounds so foreign and big to me. But I don't know of any animal chiropractor, correct? Did I say that
Yes, ma'am.
correctly?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Doctor, how do you prefer I call you, Dr. Joran or Dr. Whitley? You're usually
It,
called by your last name, right?
Here in the States, yeah, normally it's Dr. Whitley, but we also have patients that just call me Doc. I mean, it's
Right.
personal preference. Whatever you guys want to call me, it's fine.
I will call you Dr. Whitley. So, Dr. Whitley, I'd just like to ask you, first of all, um, I'm sure you've been asked this so many times. What really made you do this? Because you have your bachelor's degree in biochemistry, which you explained to me is this, and molecular biology, which you explained to me is the study of the human body. But
Mhm.
why did you still take up this specialized study of chiropractic?
Oh yeah.
Chiropractic.
So I was actually trying to find a job after college, and so I was working in labs, and I was doing the scientist thing, and I realized that test tubes didn't laugh back at my jokes, and I realized that I wanted to have interactions with
Oh.
people. Yeah, so I kind of decided was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I went back to working construction, and I worked concrete, and it's a very labor intensive job, and through that I ended up actually getting injured. And because of
Oh.
that injury, I either had to go towards either medication or towards surgery. And so we found another option, which was chiropractic. And so I went to a chiropractor. I didn't really believe in it my first time going. And then by the second time, I started to learn about the science. And anything and everything in science just fascinates me. So I started going, and they told me about the science. I was like, man, I think I could do this. There's something
Wow.
about it that just intrigued me. And after going and studying, looking at the school, and listening to doctors give their testimonies about their interactions with patients, I realized that I also wanted to be a chiropractor. And then from there, in talking with my chiropractor, I said, hey, like, if you could go back to school and do one thing, what would you do? And he said, animals. And I was like, animals? That's what? And he said, yeah, we have people bring chickens in the office, and they want them adjusted. And it just clicked that if I can help everybody in the family, I should also be able to help their family pet. And if I can help mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, I should be able to help their dog or their cat or their horse. And then from that, I realized that I wanted a platform where I could really show people that chiropractic is real and it does exist. And what better way to do that than with an animal? An animal, and not only do I want to help them, but they can also show the world that this animal may hate me, or this animal may not be able to walk, but it doesn't have any bias. You know, I can work on it and it gets better. Whether it hates me or not, it gets better. And so because of that, it's phenomenal. I'm able to show the world animal chiropractic and human chiropractic, and it's been amazing.
Wow, wow. It really started from your own passion, and you know sometimes things happen to us, and it leads us. It helps us to find out that there are other things that we can really be very good at, like your very own story. Um, I'm just intrigued because you started with animals. Did you start treating animals, or you did both animals and humans at the same time? So
Yeah.
how do you say if that's, are you human or are you animal?
Yeah. I did kind of a variety of both. And so whenever I was in school, you actually have to either be a veterinarian or a chiropractor to be able to work on
Nice.
animals. And so what we did, and you have to go through an animal specific program. And so what we did was I took that program while I was in school. And so whenever I got out, I started working on people and animals at the same time. And in my area, animal chiropractic wasn't really a thing. It wasn't something that a whole lot of people knew about. And so I wanted to make it known. I wanted it to be really, really well known. So over the next couple of years, I spent a ton of time really putting it out there that I was an animal chiropractor, and my human practice was exploding, and then my animal practice was starting to take off. And right now we're up to the point where we see about 80 to 100 people a day, and about 20 animals a day. And we have it capped off because there's times where I'm covered in dog hair and I have to go change and all this other stuff. So we see a ton of people and a ton of animals. And I think we're kind of the only one in the world that does it the way we do, where we have a huge human area and a huge animal area, and they're separated by a door, and we can bounce it back and forth between the two depending on the times of day.
That's so amazing. That's so impressive, Dr. Whitley. When you did this, did the you call it a hospital, right? The hospital existed for both animals and humans, or
So
was this your brainchild?
this is kind of my brainchild, and here, like, it'll
Wow.
be our clinic basically. The hospital here is more like, you go there when you're really sick, and here
Yes.
is like a place of like wellness. And so yeah, we started from scratch. I had a one room little office, and from there, I just started growing it until I was able to take over the building I was in, and then we had to even upgrade even further into the building we're in now, and we went from a 10 by 10 room to 2,000 square feet, and then from 2,000 square feet to 3,200 square feet. So we've just grown and grown and grown, and hopefully we've gotten to the point where we can become more efficient in this office and not have to get any bigger. That'd be insane, and a lot of cleaning. But it is, yeah. It all started from scratch.
Wow, you are gifted and blessed, Dr. Whitley. It's such an inspiring story. You mentioned about cleaning. That never even occurred to me that you have to clean up, right? Because
Hmm.
I saw in some of your videos that you really get dirtied up, and
Yeah.
there was, you know what? You're so impressive because you do all sorts of animals. I don't even know what they are. I see it in your videos. Friends, check out the Instagram, the Facebook, and YouTube of Dr. Whitley, and you'll be amazed at the variety of species that Dr. Whitley helps, like I would like to show very quickly a video of one of your human patients. We will do this. So wait, so I will show a video. I'll try to show videos as we go along, but I have a ton of questions. I hope you can give me just a little more time.
Of
I'll just
course.
show this.
There we go. With your shoulder being mad, it's affecting the muscles in your neck, which is why those didn't move like they're supposed to.
Relax the arm. No, you're good. Yeah, that was crunchy. Now, it might feel a little bit better. You might have a little better range of motion. Yeah. Muscle-wise, it's still gonna be mad. You're gonna still have the muscle pulling. Okay. So it's not something that's just gonna bounce right back real fast. It's gonna be something we're gonna work on a little bit. You might want to look at getting a massage.
Wow, that's so awesome. And I'm just curious about, and here, let me show this very popular video because I have a question about, there's a plane over my head. I have a question about the way you treat humans and animals. So this is one of Dr. Whitley's more popular videos with tens of millions of views.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I got it. There we go.
Oh, that's so cute, so compassionate. You're such a sweet doctor.
Well, I appreciate it.
Do they get scared? So, all right, you said something about test tubes not laughing back at your jokes. That was really funny what you said. Now, I have a question. When you're treating a human and an animal, has there ever been a situation where you had both the pet owner, and the animal having a session together?
We actually have. So
Really?
we'll have a person come in the room and they have their dog with them, and so they get adjusted, and then we step over into the animal room, and then the animal gets adjusted. We've had the other way around too, where we adjust the animal, and then they follow the human back over into the room. And I've had very interesting conversations with people where I did have one lady that as soon as we laid her down, her dog jumped up on top of her and laid down on top of her back, and so I wasn't able to adjust her until the dog was able to get off. But yeah, I mean, we do that quite often. I mean, we'll have, like I said, times of the day where the animal will get adjusted, and then the human, like the owner, will then get adjusted right after.
Yeah, that's so cute. So now, what's more difficult for you to treat, an animal or a human? I'm sure it's a human. Am I
I
right?
would
I hope
say
it's a human.
it really depends, and so it really
Excuse
depends
me.
on the situation. So I know that
Okay.
like my people aren't going to bite me, but my animals don't talk back, and so I
Oh
have this
yeah,
weird deal where I'll work on a human, but their injuries and whatnot maybe a little extensive, and so I have to do a lot more work on them. But then I also have the situation where I'm gonna walk in, and maybe a dog has been abused in a past home, or maybe a dog is just fearful, or maybe a dog is aggressive for whatever reason.
Mm.
And so then I have to muzzle an animal, or I have to sometimes we have to work on spots that hurt. I'm finding
Mm.
every area in the spine that's not moving well, which is also an area that's going to be painful. I mean, if you think about it, most of us say, "Oh man, I need to see a chiropractor because I have this pain in my back." Well,
Mm-mm.
then, we bring an animal in, and they may have the same problem. Well, now I'm pushing on that spot, and
Mm.
because of that, they're going to be a little upset with me. And so sometimes we have to, I don't want to say like wrestle with them, but sometimes we have to get them into a certain position that they're not comfortable with to be able to make that adjustment to make them better.
Mm.
It's
And
it's
they
definitely a
resist.
trade-off. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
it can be a little difficult working on animals sometimes, and then
Excuse me.
sometimes it can be difficult working on people. And sometimes we have patients that are just really just joy. I'm saying that
Really?
sarcastically. They're they're not. And but
I
we have
thought you were
like
serious.
no, but we do have like dogs that come in that absolutely love getting worked on, and they come over and they lick me afterwards, or the
Yeah.
puppies that we adjust and they fall asleep in my arms, or whatnot,
Oh.
those little things. And so it's kind of nice being able to work on an animal and just having that pure gratification, versus sometimes we work on a human and I'm like, I did everything I could, this is going to be amazing, and the person's like, I feel all right, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh, but I
yeah. Yeah.
tried. So
Yeah.
complication wise,
Yeah.
it varies based on the person or the situation.
Okay, so Doc, just one question about the human body. So you use your fingers, right, to
Hmm.
see the dislocations, and how were you able to take care of? I don't think when you went to school you studied the horse. You didn't have actual. training on these animals. How are you able to do that? It's like you're doing magic. So
So
sometimes you're handling a small cat, and then the next thing I see is you're there
large
adjusting
animal.
a horse leg or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, what is that animal? It doesn't look like, it looks like a camel, but it's not a camel.
Yeah.
Amazing. So how do you do
So
that?
I've worked on a ton of different animals, and so what we did is in school, we learned about the human spine, and I learned how to use my fingertips to be able to tell whenever a vertebra is misaligned, or whenever there's heat, or whenever
Mm.
there's slight changes to muscle tone and different things. But then what we did do is I did go through 6 months of training to work
Mm.
on animals, and so we did learn on a large animal like a horse,
Mm.
and we learned on a
Mm.
small animal like a dog, and then from
Mm.
there we take the small animal spine and then we translate it into other animals. So I can take a dog spine and translate it into a cat spine, or
Mm.
a raccoon spine, or something of that nature. And then our horse we would then take and put towards like our zebras, our donkeys, our llamas, our giraffes, or whatever else is bigger. And so we're able to take those two spines and then work up and down based on that. So
Mm.
it's actually really really cool. But I spent a lot of hours studying animal spines and trying to feel for them and see exactly where they need to move and how they moved. And then I also go to a museum of osteology, which is basically a giant museum of bones, and they have full skeletons, and I can sit there and study the bones and figure out where they move and how they move, and
Mm.
if I move this, then it moves this, and it helps this move better, or these two aren't supposed to move, or whatever it is, depending on the animal.
So you really observe, right? You really
Hmm.
you really love to do this and study the human body. Has there ever been a time, Doc, when you hurt yourself trying to
Yeah.
pull somebody's arm or leg? Did you ever dislocate your own bones?
No, not so much. But I have multiple times been injured when after working a long day or something, I'm not paying attention to how I set my
Mm.
body up to be able to work on a human, and
Oh.
then I potentially injure myself or start to injure myself. I have
Mm.
been injured working on animals too. So I've been kicked by horses, or like I actually had an ACL tear and a meniscus tear in my knee from a horse falling on me. I've had different
Oh.
scenarios where an animal got scared and its first reaction was to bolt or to move or whatnot. And then there was also the dogs. Before I started using muzzles, I'd work on a dog and it would be totally fine, and all of a sudden it would be in pain, and its first
Mm.
reaction is to turn around and bite, and then
Wow.
next thing I know I'm bleeding. And
Oh
so I've been
no.
injured quite a bit working on different animals, and there are lots of animals I'm really grateful I was never injured working with.
Yes.
Poisonous snakes or animals that
Yes.
were way bigger than me that would have killed me.
Yeah.
Very thankful for that.
Wow. Are you the only one that does that here on
I'm the
Earth?
only
I
one
think you're the
crazy.
only
Yeah,
one.
I'm the only one crazy enough to do some of the stuff I do. Yes, there
You,
are several animal chiropractors here in the States, though.
yeah, you're amazing. I just want to show the audience here are pictures, like they're just so many. I didn't know which to pick, but you have here a buffalo, you have birds, you do birds, you do snakes, Friends, take a look at this. It's really like he's got the whole zoo under his care, right? And you know what's so amazing? I was studying your social media and I saw in one of your posts, it's zoo day today. And then I said, hasn't he had enough of animals? Because you had a post. I don't know if you remember that, but you said like it's zoo day, like you visited the zoo or something. So he really loves animals. Do you remember that? Excuse me.
I do. So we actually used to go to the zoo. So this was before COVID. We would go to the zoo quite often and work on animals that they'd have that they'd want us to work on. And since
I
COVID, it's been a little
see.
more strict on some of the safety protocols you have to have for certain animals. But um, yeah, I mean, I work with pretty much anybody and
I
everybody
see.
that has a spine, and so we'll work with local zoos, or we'll work. I went to Africa and I got to go and work at their zoo um, in um, in East London, South Africa, and pretty much anybody that has an animal that needs it worked on. I mean, I'd love to be able to
Mm-mm.
work on it, or at least point them in the right direction of somebody who could potentially help me nearby. And then there are lots of countries that don't have animal chiropractic, and so I want to be able to help bring them animal chiropractic to their country or to their continent, to help change the paradigm, the mindset.
Wow. So, okay, there's a picture here. I'll show it again. Here in the center, um, I think you were talking. It's sorry, the picture is small, but you giving a seminar? These are pictures of your human patients and some pictures from your place of work. So that picture that I showed, the bottom where there's a group of people, you were giving a lesson, or we were coaching, or what was
Yeah.
that, Doc?
So
Yes.
what I'll do sometimes is I'll go out to the community and we'll talk with people about chiropractic care. Maybe people who have never been to a chiropractor or somebody that went one time whenever they were younger. And so that specific picture is from a retirement type community that's here in Oklahoma City, around the Edmond area. And we went in and we talked to them about their health, because chiropractic is basically working on the spine and getting the spine moving, no different than brushing your teeth. It's wellness for your spine, like brushing your teeth is wellness for your teeth. And so getting adjusted would be good for patients who, well, pretty much any age at any point in time. But for those patients that already have arthritis, it'd be a good idea to go ahead and get worked on. That way we can get those joints moving again, allow their bodies to heal and function at their very best, so that they can function optimally. The grandma and grandpa that want to be able to lift their grandbaby up, but they can't because of their back pain, and we can say, hey, there is a chance for you. You don't have to be on medication for the rest of your life. Get adjusted, whether you see us or you see somebody else. We want you to get worked on. We want you to see chiropractors and be under chiropractic care. And then from there, I promise you that your life will get better to some degree. And so it's just education.
Wow. That's so noble. That's so noble that you also have the heart for people who, especially the aged people, because so are you telling me, just three more questions, are you telling
Hey, you're
me
fine.
that that as we get older, is it like, not quote unquote mandatory, but is it a good practice even if you're not feeling anything to see a chiropractor, or not necessary? What's your advice?
My advice is for everyone to see a chiropractor. So depending on somebody's situation. So if we look at someone's spine and their spine looks absolutely great, then maybe they'd be seeing a chiropractor every once in a while, just as wellness, to make sure the spine continues to move. It's kind of like changing the oil in your car, right? And you don't wait until your car is smoking to change the oil. You don't. You go, okay, at 3,000 miles or 6,000 miles or whatever it is, you change the oil, because it's good practice to make sure that it lasts a very long time. And we should do the same thing with our spine. We have patients that are 3 hours old. They're just born, and we work on them. And we have
Really?
the
3
geriatric.
hours?
We work on everybody. And so anybody that has a spine can be worked on. And so as we do get older, we do have those scenarios where somebody's spine is slowly deteriorating. It's like a cavity. You don't know you have a cavity until you have sensitivity, or you have, your tooth falls apart, or something happens.
Right.
You don't notice you have a cavity until it's so bad that you then notice it. But if you would have caught it really early, you could have prevented it, or you could have stopped it from getting worse. And that's why I would recommend everybody see a chiropractor to some degree, at some level, even if it's just once a month or once every 2 months. It really is better than never going at all. Sometimes, though, we do see people and we need to see them more often, because they have problems that need to be corrected now. Like somebody has a cavity, they need it fixed now. And sometimes their spines really need to be fixed now before it becomes something bigger, or create a bigger problem, or create more pain or disability, or whatever it may be. The same thing goes with animals.
Yeah. Oh, I just feel like listening to you the whole time. So really, surgery is not the immediate solution, right? Yeah, thank you for saying that. I know so many people with varying degrees of discomfort, and who knows, it's all because of their misaligned bones. I'm trying to sound like a doctor. So, Dr. Whitley, I promised you that I won't keep you longer than, and this is, that's your picture in the office, and at work with humans. And this is you. the very
Hmm.
active Dr. Whitley, who has different passions. Yeah, you love the beach, you love the snow, the mountains,
Hmm.
and you also do firing, gun firing.
Yep.
Is that right? And then
Yeah.
you
So
have,
yes.
yeah. Tell me about you as a wh- like how do you not detox, but how do you relax? You know
Yeah.
what you do to relax is tiring.
It can be. So the more you try to relax, I mean, I feel like sometimes it can turn into a job itself because I have to remind
Really?
myself to relax. But yeah, I mean, I love everything from the mountains to the beach and everything in between. And so whenever it's snowing on the mountains, we go and I snowboard. My wife skis. Whenever it's sunny out in the mountains, I'm hiking. I love to shoot guns, and that's something that growing up in Oklahoma, that was kind of a part of our life. And so the skill and mindset it takes to be able to sit down and be able to hit targets and go through that whole thing. I mean, it's a really cool science in itself. And then there's fitness. I try to work out every single day if I can, to
Mm.
some degree. And then I mean, there's all sorts of things. You had pictures of my motorcycle on there. I
Right,
recently,
right.
just because people kind of get stupid when it comes to driving, I've actually sold
Uh-huh.
that. But
Uh-huh.
there are other things that I enjoy doing that are outdoors related, whether it be, fishing or hiking or just
Mm-mm.
being out in nature. Um, I'm an animal lover, and I love being out in nature and being able to work on animals. I also do a ton of extracurriculars with animals, and I just anything and everything I can get my hands on and do, I do. I just planned a scuba diving trip to
Mm.
Egypt, and
Oh.
yeah, just crazy stuff. And then we have future trips coming up and plans to just go see other countries and I mean, it's just as much as I can do, but
Yes.
I really just
And
enjoy hanging out with my dog too. So just
mm,
chilling out and
yeah,
relaxing.
talking about your dog, Dr. Whitley, I'd like to show this. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know if you there, yeah. Sometimes the internet prevents me from seeing what I'm putting on screen. So here, your very lovely wife, Laurel. Do you call her Laurel or Victoria? Do
yeah.
you have a special name?
Laurel. No, I
Laurel.
just call her
Yeah,
Laurel. Yeah,
Laurel. And I
she's yeah.
know, go ahead, say you were saying?
Oh
She,
no, she's just amazing, and we've the picture that you have there of us. That was actually my groom's cake. Was she actually had it made as a spine, so that's a spine
I
groom's
know.
cake. I mean, it was really cool.
Yeah, I said I cannot not show this. It's really the dedication and the love
Yeah.
for what you do, right? Really lovely, really very lovely. And this is the dog here. What kind of dog is Dixie? Dixie, you lost, right? Sorry, I'm bringing it up
Yes.
anyway. His
No, no, it's
photo's
fine.
right behind you,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
wrote
Some
a
photos
very
behind me too.
touching. Yeah, you wrote a very touching article about Dixie and how sad you were. You said, it really moved me, Dr. Whitley, when you said that you woke up, or was it like you woke up, your eyes were very swollen, and you just tried to set it aside and then keep it for the end of the day when you're not with your patients so that you can cry
Yeah,
your heart out. So you're such a
yeah.
you're such a I think the reason you succeed aside from your brains, your brilliance and your training is because you have an authentic heart that really loves the human you really love you are the epitome of what this advocacy is about. Dr. Whitley, you don't know that, but you are you're the bust, the epitome of really loving nature, loving animals, and loving each other, loving the humans. I didn't ask you this, but it's on your social media, so it's for
Yeah.
public information. This is so sweet. I'm gonna show it. There, prayers for my future wife. You also said something about wanting to align yourself with our Lord, right? So that's really
Yeah.
awesome because that's really also part of our advocacy is to recognize where everything beautiful that we have comes from. So I'm just so happy that, I found you, and this is really ordained, a blessing that we have you on the show. So I won't take much of your time, but I just want to share this. This is one of your videos also about your trip in Africa, trip to Africa.
Asked to go to Africa was to teach and to show people that animal chiropractic can be done on animals of various sizes and shapes, animals that are in captivity, but also animals that are in the wild, animals that we have as pets, and then animals that we see behind bars at the zoo. We got to show them that the adjustment can help sustain life and can help ease potentially some of the pain that some of these animals are having.
So there, that's so I know that before this happened, you were really looking forward to it. Can just one last question? Can you share one one learning or something that you really took home with you after doing this in Africa? What was
Oh
something
man.
remarkable that happened to you? What's something that you would want to dwell on, to think of? What's something that can you allow us to get inside the heart and the mind of Dr. Whitley, so that we feel your experience also?
It was, man, there was so much that encompassed that trip. It's really hard to narrow it down to one
Yes.
specific feeling or one specific take home. I mean, there was so much whenever it came to, seeing these animals in the wild was a completely different experience than seeing them at the zoo or at a safari or sanctuary or something of that nature. I mean, these animals were truly living completely wild, where nature is out to get them, and nature is also there to protect them. And um, we see all these animals that they have really no real human interaction except for maybe a checkup every once in a while or something of that nature. But the animals that we have here have it so well, and
Mm.
our domesticated animals are able to live a life basically of luxury when relating to some of these animals in the wild that, I mean, are eating each other right in front of you. I mean, so,
Oh, wow.
but being able to help them and being able to work with them in the whole Africa trip in itself was to show that no matter what type of animal that we're working on, or no matter what type of animal is under care, that every animal has the chance to have a better quality of life. If an animal is being sedated for a checkup, then let's go ahead and adjust it and check its spine as well. And
Mm.
if we do that, we might change that animal's complete outlook on life, or maybe that animal, because of what we've just done, we've given it relief enough that it's going to live several more years because it won't be the slowest in the pack, or it won't be susceptible to the things of age. And I want to think that the animals I worked on are able to function better, and whenever they woke up from sedation, were able to go, oh my gosh, that pain that I had whenever I went to sleep, I woke up and that pain was gone. And then through that, being able to help those veterinarians go, wait, there's another way to do this. I don't know. It's just a crazy experience getting to work on a wild animal instead of it being a domesticated one where I'm going to see it every single day, or I'm going to see it every single week. I worked on this animal and then we released it back into the wild, and I will never see it again. Kind of a crazy thought.
Yeah, that's something else, right? You never see the animal again. It just goes off to the mountains, to the
Yeah.
forest. Yeah. Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Whitley. You're really just an eye opener to our listeners, to the world. And I won't be surprised. I'm almost like asking you to write a book or a movie. Maybe a movie, right? A movie that people can really learn so much from you. So I am so happy and privileged to have spoken to you. That you gave us the time. We're all the way here on the opposite side of the globe. You're so busy. Your day just ended, seeing hundreds of animals and people. You are awesome, Dr. Whitley. And we are, to the people of the Philippines, we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. And hopefully, one of these days, maybe we can do something, make it, meet you there in person, and we can do something for the world.
That'd be cool.
Think
That'd be
big,
awesome.
right. So that was Dr. Whitley, and it was really a remarkable time. I'm so moved with the things he said, the passion he has, and really just selflessness. His authentic desire to make people and animals feel better. Sometimes at the expense of his own comfort. At times he gets hurt. So when I hear people talk like that, when I see people do the things he does, it just brings me down to my knees in awe and appreciation for our Maker, for our Creator, because the world was designed. We were designed to love each other and to really just enjoy nature, to enjoy our animals, our pets, and each other. So I hope that this experience with Dr. Whitley inspired you. And with that, I just like to say, love your animals, love your human being, love the world, and be thankful and grateful to God. Bye bye. See you next Saturday. This is Tita Me for Petty Talks TV.